Now, there's a rumor going around that I hate wrestling. I'm not exactly sure where this rumor has come from. Maybe from disgruntled wrestling fans projecting their hatred of various products onto me. Maybe from the fact that I seem to put all my time and energy into No Rolls Barred, the best board game YouTube channel in history. Or maybe it's because all those time on live streams where I said I hate wrestling. But I don't. I'm just not sure that I love wrestling anymore. As a hobby, it's a type of hard work that board games never is, and I find all the tribalism, backstage hostility, the constant hype machine quite tiring. I still enjoy watching good wrestling, especially with my good friends, but I don't really let the bad stuff close enough to affect my emotional state anymore. I'm saying all of this to give you some idea of how hard this list was to write. I hold on to the wrestling matches that I love, and by all means check out my 10 favorite matches list for those. But the matches I hate, I tend to just let that stuff go by because, I mean, who's got the time? Well, a job's a job. Let me see if I can cast my mind back to the stuff that really ground my gears. I'm Adam, hailing from partsFUNknown. Here are my 10 most hated wrestling matches ever. Number 10, Triple H versus The Rock versus Mick Foley versus Big Show. So, I got into wrestling in 2000. That's something that most hardcore Adam Blampied fans know, and boy, the phrase hardcore Adam Blampied fans fills me with some dread, but it's true. First proper show I watched was No Mercy 2000. Then a friend at school sold me a bunch of VHS tapes of WWE shows from 2000, which was an amazing year for WWE, apart from WrestleMania, which was See, as a 13-year-old, I had no idea what bad wrestling was. Everything seemed good to me. Big Show versus Big Boss Man. What a hot feud about Big Show's dad, I thought. Boo, Rikishi, what a convincing villain you are for running down Steve Austin, I thought. But there was one match that even I, as a 13-year-old who knew nothing about the industry or long-term WWE lore, that I knew sucked. And that was the main event of WrestleMania 2000. After watching the Rumble 2000, No Way Out 2000, watching Mick Foley team up with the man who retired him a month earlier to beat down The Rock made no sense to me. Even back then, I hated it, even before the Triple H win at the end. Why, Mick? Why did you have to break my little heart? Number 9, Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 12. F*** this match. Now, to be clear, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels are very good wrestlers. I am not telling you you're personally wrong for liking the back catalogue of either man, but for real, this match. It is so boring. But it's the main event of WrestleMania and the first Iron Man match and the first time HBK wins the title, so you feel like you need to watch it. Don't. I did. Don't, though. 5 interesting minutes at the start, 5 goodish minutes at the end, 1 brilliant minute right at the end, and the rest is f***ing misery. The premise of the Iron Man match is how many falls will happen in an hour. F***ing none! A full hour with no pinfalls in the first Iron Man match. Why would you choose the first one to subvert the entire f***ing premise of the match and not achieve its dramatic potential? Do that in the second match if you have to. It's just so f***ing boring! Oh, God, another rest hold. Sweet f***ing Lord. Number 8, Triple H versus Batista, WrestleMania 35. If a wrestling fan is bad in their life, when they die, they go to a special circle of hell called having to watch Triple H's WrestleMania matches on a loop forever. Are all of Triple H's WrestleMania matches bad? No. 30 and 17 are good. 31 is fun until the end. 28 is good after 20 minutes. And that's it. That's the business. I wouldn't mind them so much if they just weren't so f***ing long. Does Trips need half an hour of WrestleMania to himself every time? I respect the guy, but the matches never have enough in-ring storytelling to cover their slow-ass pace and epic-ass runtime. The first time Trips fought Batista at WrestleMania 21, it was a bit flat and 21 minutes long. 14 years later, years after both men's prime, they fought again at WrestleMania 35, and this time it went 25 minutes long. How dare you! On a show that ended up being 5 hours and 20 minutes long without the pre-show, leaving fans exhausted for its supposedly groundbreaking main event. It's the worst excess on a show undone by its worst excesses. Also, the match sucked, but that's almost beside the point. Number 7, Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston, SmackDown, October 4th, 2019. Look, I'm not about to sit here and tell you that Kofi Kingston's world title run in 2019 was perfect, or that it even was good for the most of it. I did a fantasy booking video on Kofi Mania for this exact reason, but Kofi deserved better sounds like a disingenuous Twitter buzz phrase, but he did. Should Kofi have lost? Yeah, probably, but in 15 seconds? What's the point? To make Brock look dominant? Because he wouldn't already? You couldn't have given Kofi the same type of Daniel Bryan AJ style Survivor Series match? Because that way you might have had another top level contender on your roster and not, you know, a dumbass who ran directly into a killer whale's mouth. Kofi was beaten with one move and then immediately vanished from view because Cain Velasquez needed to arrive to hype his 1 minute Saudi match. Brock has a lot of these needless squashes under his belt. Ricochet's was similarly annoying, but this one is just so needless and self-destructive, it still baffles and angers me to this day. Number 6, The Fiend versus Randy Orton, WrestleMania 37. I imagine some people thought The Fiend versus Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell would be on this list, or maybe The Fiend versus Goldberg, and I do hate those matches too, don't worry. Both are baffling misuses of an interesting gimmick and an open disregard of fan interest in that gimmick. Maybe you could excuse the Hell in a Cell booking with WWE not knowing exactly how to effectively book an invincible magical supervillain because, you know, they didn't book The Undertaker exactly like that for f***ing decades. Maybe you could excuse Goldberg because all Saudi matches take place in Bizarro World, but the Mania 37 match came after everything. The Funhouse, after burning The Fiend alive, after months and months of build, of having to suffer through endless spooky nonsense of just waiting for this feud to end and WWE start using The Fiend again. And when the time comes for all of it to finish, the match starts beautifully. That Jack in the Box is phenomenal business. Then there's an Alexa Bliss distraction, RKO, the end. One final f*** you in a run full of f*** yous, and by far the least excusable. Number 5, all Eugene matches. I don't want to get into a debate about learning difficulties, disability, or making assumptions about what people living with those disabilities might think about Eugene, the wrestling character whose gimmick was being mentally challenged. It's not a debate I'm qualified to have, so I'll just speak for myself. I hate this character. I hate every match he's ever had, and I don't care whether it's the early Eugene days when he was treated essentially as a large, happy child. I don't care if it's later Eugene where they realized that everyone hated the gimmick, so they trotted him out so that people could cheer for the gimmick itself having the shit kicked out of it, which is so many layers of cynicism on top of itself, it makes my head spin. I just hate the whole mess. This bargain store pantomime of real conditions, whether characters are laughing with Eugene kicking Triple H in the bum or laughing at this caricature facing its comeuppance for just existing. It's just not a club I want to be a part of. I don't want to laugh with any of these people. Think what you want. Either way, the whole thing just grosses me out. Just f*** along now. Number 4, Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton, Battleground 2013. There are a number of times that WWE have said, you, we've got your money to its fans over the years, but none of them feel quite so blatantly a rip-off as this. Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton fighting over the vacant WWE Championship. Daniel Bryan won it back at Night of Champions, but the ref fast counted, so the title was held up, with almost the entire promotion of Battleground being the title is vacant, who gets it? The answer, of course, was the fans. They got it right in their communal eyes, hearts, lungs, butthole, and of course, their wallets. The ending of the match was The Big Show, who was put in the Daniel Bryan versus Authority storyline to cry like a big sad turtle and occasionally punch someone when Triple H tipped big to his Shonely fans. He big showed up, punched everyone. The match ended just because, and for some reason the Big Show posed as his music played. This was in the era before the network as well, so this main event cost you 50 smackers. Thanks, idiot. How fucking dare you? The sheer laziness of having no resolution and no explanation and charging top dollar for it, it is the worst. Number 3, clowns versus not clowns, Survivor Series 1993. Now, despite my accent, I really try not to be elitist about things. As long as no one's getting hurt, people can like whatever they want, good for them, clap, clap. But I do hate comedy. Maybe it's because I was a sketch comedian for a better part of a decade, which beat into me that making good comedy is hard work. Maybe it's because of that WWE's particular brand of lazy, cross-eyes and fall-over into poopy style yucks drives me to distraction. There are a lot of bad WWE comedy matches, hog pen matches, the Royal Family versus Clowns R Us, the Backlash Zombie bull, the Hardcore Evening Gown bull. So you can essentially take this entry as being about them too, but for me, it's the match at Survivor Series 93 where Men on a Mission and the Bushwhackers were doink, despite none of them being doink, and defeating Bam Bam Bigelow, the Head Shrinkers and Bastion Booger in a clean sweep via prop comedy, like slipping on banana peels. It is exhausting anti-humor bollocks. Number 2, the Royal Rumble match 2015. Because, yeah, few matches have seen a promotion so transparently tell its fans to go f*** themselves as the 2015 Royal Rumble. This has been talked about to death, so I'll keep it brief. Roman Reigns was on a John Cena-like ascendancy to the top. After years of bland babyface John Cena constantly winning, fans were mega gun-shy about the next corporate golden boy, especially one who seemed to be quite green in terms of promos and work rate, and double especially when Daniel Bryan was around, who the fans had built this huge popularity cult around. For them, Bryan being on top was emblematic of how WWE should be. Roman was emblematic of how WWE should not be. Unhealthy fan engagement, absolutely, but also WWE stokes that kind of fan engagement all the time. We're the authority. Did you forget that? So for people to be very clear about who they wanted to win the Rumble, aka this guy, and then for A, this guy to be eliminated early looking like a gob, B, everyone else that the fans like being beaten up by Big Show and Kane, C, for Roman to not do a whole lot in the match, and D, for Roman to only win because Show and Kane attacked each other like colossal dumbasses. It was a perfect storm of bad booking and fan dismissal. F*** this ugly ass match. And number 1, DX versus Brothers of Destruction, Crown Jewel 2018. So a lot of these entries are matches that serve as figureheads for a whole subset of matches, be it bad comedy, inconsistent storytelling, self-indulgence, or bad value for money. This entry is about Saudi matches, a business relationship that's not only gifted us the unease of watching our favorite wrestlers shuck and jive for blood money, but also some of the worst matches WWE have ever produced. Lars Sullivan versus Lucha House Party, Shane McMahon being crowned best wrestler in the world, Goldberg versus Taker, Goldberg versus The Fiend, Brock versus Ricochet, Strowman versus Fury, Undertaker winning a gauntlet match, he wasn't f***ing in. Every show there seems to be some illogical, hateful crap designed to satisfy a big, rich knob playing with his human-sized action figures. DX versus Brothers of Destruction is one of these. A bad regime paying top dollar for Shawn Michaels to break his perfect retirement for a huge, ugly payday and a legacy-tainting snooze match. WWE is a propaganda machine, so the fact they've released a documentary in which everyone involved hates this match, it speaks volumes. HBK got the perfect cowboy ending, riding off into the sunset, and this serves as a post-credit sequence where he slips and falls in horse. I hate so much that it exists. And that's our list. Wasn't that a cheerful time? What's your most hated match, and why'd you hate it so much? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this video around if it made you similarly annoyed. And make sure you subscribe to partsFUNknown for more cheerful, silly wrestling content. I'm Adam Hailing from partsFUNknown. Jam that jam, everybody.